Hello, everyone. Hello and welcome. Can you believe it was mid-September 2014, so just a little over 12 months ago, that we actually went into contract to purchase this facility. And now it's 13 months later. We're about to move in. When we move in, while we're not done with our capital campaign, we will move in fully funding the purchase and the renovation of this facility, and that's because of all of you. Thank you so much. So I can't tell you all how great it is for me to see you all here, to allow Natasha, myself, and the Dean and others to say thank you to all of our major funders, all of our friends, all of our in-kind donors. Again, without all of you, we wouldn't be here today. Without all of you, the Star House would remain in this facility right around the corner, on the corner of 4th and 12th Street. It's an 1,800 square foot facility. To give you just a visual comparison, and I'll talk a little bit more about that wonderful facility we're in today. If you go out these doors, the cluster of furniture on your immediate left, that little cluster of furniture, is the same size as the entire downstairs living area for our youth today. And that just kind of, for those of you that haven't been to the existing facility, it gives you a visual for just how great this facility really is. As a stark reminder about why we're here today, I will tell you back in late August, believe it or not, I went to get my hair cut. I don't really see the humor in that, but anyways, the co-owner of this salon that I go to, in fact, Andy, the same place you go to, I found out last week, she came up to me, and this was on the same day that Rita Price, who's here somewhere, had an article in the Dispatch about the city funding that we've just received, thanks to our good friends in the city and county, to remain open 24/7. Anyways, the co-owner came up to me and she said, "Terry, I didn't know you were involved with the Star House. Thank you so much." And I said, "Well, you're welcome. It's great thing to do for our community and especially for our youth." But then she said, "Were it not for the Star House, my son wouldn't be here with us today." And it really was a very gripping thing. And, you know, my friends that are here that know me well know that I'm Irish and Sicilian, and so I'm not good with my emotions. But when this woman, when she said that to me, it was just another reminder about the great work that Natasha and Denitsa and Gina Patterson and their team do at the Star House. They literally are saving lives week in and week out. And so to Natasha, to Gina Patterson, to Denny, and to all of the Star House staff, along with my thanking all of you, I thank all of you as well. I know many of you share the same sentiment that I do. I want to thank my daughter and son-in-law for introducing my wife and I and our family to the Star House. We got involved about 3 years ago where we came to the Star House to do a holiday meal. The first two people that we met that night to plan the holiday meal told us that they too grew up homeless when they were young. And of course, now that you know that I'm Irish and Sicilian, you'll know that I did everything I could to not tear up when I heard that, because I felt like, oh my God, here are two people that are spending their adult lives giving back to the same population they were part of when they were growing up. And I just thought about these folks and about so many other social service providers that I know are here with us today. Unsung heroes, every one of them. They do so much for so little. They make a great impact in the world. When we planned that dinner, I quickly found out that they were operating on a budget of $150,000 a year. They were open 9 to 5, 5 days a week, not 24/7 at the end of the day and on Friday afternoon. We had to say thanks for coming to our youth and then turn them out when they're most vulnerable, those evening hours and on the weekends. I knew right away that they needed a lot of help. So I decided that night that I was just retired, and I decided I was going to spend my time and see if we couldn't give the Star House some help. So what we did is we went out, we formed a board. The board put together a strategic plan. We went after state funding. We were able to get $665,000 a year from the state. That state money allowed us to go 24/7. We were able to hire more therapists, more floor monitors, and really expand the operation to begin to deliver the kind of services that these youth needed. One of the first things that we identified in our strategic plan was a new facility. When we first began to get involved, we were seeing about 20 kids a day, maybe 200 to 300 a year. In 2014, we averaged maybe 50 kids a day. I say kids, they're youth, 14 to 24, homeless. They have nothing, but we averaged about 50 a day, and we saw 724 young people in 2014. Those 724 young homeless folks visited this 1,800 square foot rental property that we're in today over 17,000 times. So when I say they have nothing, I really mean it. So that's what got us to focus on a new building. Today we're averaging 60 to 70 youth per day in that 1,800 square foot rental property. Another stark reminder about why we're here today. About a month and a half ago, I met with a young woman who's at the Fisher School of Business. Her name is Tally Wolf. And as I went out into the community looking for donations and gifts to fund this new building, I would describe our current facility as a rat-infested rental property dump. And it is. So now get this. When I met with Tally, she told me the last time she was up on our third floor in the existing building having a meeting, she saw a rat crawling on top of some of the boxes up there. That's why we're here today. I know you don't want to hear it, but it's what we've lived with for the last, I don't know, how many years now, Natasha? For the last 11 years. And I can guarantee you there are no rats in this building today. When we asked so many of you to support the Star House, we promised that your gift, that through your gifts, we would make a profound difference in many, many young lives. Through this new facility, we promise you, we commit to you that we're going to keep that promise, we're going to fulfill that promise, and we're going to continue to make a big difference in the lives of hundreds and thousands of young people in Central Ohio. So having said that, it is my great honor now to introduce the Dean of the College of Education and Human Ecology, a great supporter of the Star House. Please help me welcome to the stage Cheryl Ochterberg. All yours, honey.
Well, good morning, everyone. It is just such a pleasure to say hello and thank you, because as Terry said, today is really about thanking each and every person in this room. But when I got up this morning and I saw the sunrise, it was one of the most glorious sunrises I've ever seen. It was absolutely exquisite this morning, and I knew that sunrise was to mark this special day, because it is so special. So rarely in our lives does everything come together in one moment at one time that we can celebrate, and celebrate in making good happen. And that's what today is about, and that's what this facility is about. So as you heard Terry describe, literally over the last few years, hundreds of people have given their time and talent and treasure to make this building come together, to make the dream come together, to serve what I think is probably the most vulnerable population in this city, in this county, maybe in the state. So I want to thank each and every one of you on behalf of the college and the university, and especially on behalf of the young people who visit Star House. Thank you for making a difference in those lives and for making this place happen. I want to call out a few of the major donors that contributed so much to this building. The Robert J. Anthony Fund, the Charles Blessing Fund, the City of Columbus, the Endowment for Community Enrichment Fund, the McConnell Foundation, and the Anthony Charles Fund. Can we please acknowledge those special donors? And I must ask you to join me with a long, loud applause honoring our first speaker, Terry O'Connell, and his wife, Cindy O'Connell, for just absolutely being tireless in making this project come together to support the youth here at Star House. Let's clap for them. Thank you for that. So I can't thank you all enough for the gifts and for coming today. But next I'd like to introduce you to another real hero. I want to introduce you to the person who started it all, our Star House founder and professor of human sciences, Natasha Sleznick. When Natasha came to Ohio State from the University of New Mexico, she'd already spent years studying homeless youth. And she knew the most effective way to recruit homeless youth for her research projects was through a drop-in center. When she came here to Columbus, though, there wasn't such a center. She was told there weren't any homeless youth in Columbus. So she, on her own, started Star House. And she, on her own, for years, supported that operation strictly on her own research grants. She has been so successful now with her research. She truly is a model for the entire United States of America. And she's been especially successful in working with an elusive population that very few people have been successful in attracting and continuing relationships with. So the number of youth that she has worked with on an annual basis has tripled. We expect with this new facility it will probably double again. We believe that there are between 1,200 and 1,500 homeless youth in this city as we speak. Those are the people that we are here for today, to support them in their futures, in their lives. And the main person leading that enterprise forward is Natasha Slesnik. Please join me.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. I want to talk to you a little bit about the reasons I'm here and start off with a quote by Kofi Annan, who was the former United Nations Secretary General. He said that young people should be at the forefront of global change and innovation. Empowered, they can be key agents for development and for peace. If, however, they are left on society's margins, all of us will be impoverished. He said, let us ensure that all young people have every opportunity to participate fully in the lives of their societies. You all are here for different reasons. Different populations tug at our hearts for different reasons. Maybe some of you met a homeless youth and that experience changed you. Maybe they surprised you in that they weren't the irreverent thug that the media sometimes makes them out to be. Or maybe you're a philanthropist who wants a better future for our most vulnerable young people. Or you're here because you're a provider who partners with us to help these kids. Or maybe you've suffered like these kids have suffered. I'm here because when I met my first homeless youth, I thought that she and I were alike. I felt no one should suffer alone like she suffered, and I don't just mean because these youth don't have a place to live. Although homelessness is our focus with these kids, that is only a part of the problem. The bigger problem is that these kids have been turned away by their families, who either could not or would not care for them. They've been turned away from their friends, whose open doors are no longer open to them. They've tried the system and were turned away or decided that they were better off on their own. Some of these kids have given up on us, and perhaps some of us have given up on these kids. Have you ever felt so alone that you wanted to die? I have. Many of these kids have. Suicide is the primary cause of death for these kids. Up to 45% of our kids will try to kill themselves at least once during a homeless episode. A 17-year-old shivering at night under a bridge, wondering who loves her and who cares if she lives or dies, is the true impoverishment of the human spirit. We can't let these kids suffer alone. And I think that you agree with me. In the last 2 to 3 years of my involvement with the Star House, I, for the first time, have not felt that I was alone in the fight to end suffering of these kids. I have all of you to thank for that, and especially I have Terry O'Connell to thank for that. So now, please enjoy this video created by Edward McGinnis with Next Level. Next Level offers leadership trainings and is an integral part of their mission is to have a positive impact on our community.
James, I was over to Star House one day, and I was talking to some of the kids, and he came over to me, and he was smoking a cigarette, and he said, "I'll talk to you." He looked like a refugee from a prisoner of war camp. He had stitches over his left eye. He had 2 black eyes and cuts and bruises on his face. And I said, "James, what happened to you?" He said, he told me that he was dragged into an alley at gunpoint, and he was beaten up and raped. And then he proceeded to tell me the story of his life. And he said his mother was a prostitute down in Gainesville, Florida. And when she was pregnant with him, she was doing crack cocaine and heroin. She was smoking marijuana, and she was drinking heavily. He was born addicted and deemed an at-risk child. As I looked at this kid, I said, wow, this kid had 3 strikes against him before he was ever born. He has no chance.
I would say that some of the most surprising stories are those who, come from homes of missing parents, or parents die at a young age, or they age out of the foster care system, and then they really have no support behind them. So instead of life turning into a time where you can make a mistake and it be corrected, for them it's if you make one mistake, that's the end of it, and then they're here in this situation and they have no way out.
I was staying everywhere. I didn't really want to stay in a shelter. Being with a lot of friends and staying in people's cars. I stayed in my girl's car for about a year.
We getting booked right now, though.
I'm on A&W.
You trying to go blind? Yeah. Is this the third?
It's where I slept every night for months and months and months.
Honestly, it's because I really don't have anywhere else to go, and it helps a lot dealing with hopping from shelter to shelter.
I would say that it's a safe respite from the streets, so we're able to have a safe environment where someone can come and not feel threatened or not feel like they have to fend for their lives, somewhere they can come and actually have a smile and have fun for the day.
I think what we really do better than anything else is create a bridge for the youth. We're coming from all different sorts of situations, terrible usually, not necessarily as bad. Create a way for them to get back into mainstream society.
We're very excited for having a new space. We're looking forward to be able to move there, and we're very, very grateful for the wonderful support that we have received from both public and private donors.
We've always said that what we've accomplished here at the Star House would not be possible without support from the community, and there's really no way we could ever express our gratitude.
It's going to be so wonderful. We're really excited to get a lot of space, so more room to help the youth so they don't have to be in each other's hair, we don't have to be in their hair.
Having a computer lab to get more than one person on a computer during the half hour and just will be amazing. Having more offices so we can have multiple providers in the house at one time.
Also a lot of professional development, opportunity and space for them. They can figure out more ways to get jobs. We'll have more resources that way. Also in the new building, it's all of us will have an office to actually do our job effectively.
That indoor gym might be the thing I'm most scared of and most excited for, because I don't know how you enforce rules on a basketball court, but having just an outlet for them, a physical outlet, get some exercise, play together, build relationships on a basketball court. If you can manage your emotions on a basketball court, you can probably manage your emotions anywhere.
There's a lot of things that you can do, so yeah, it's a good place to be.
Video. Now I'm honored to introduce our next speaker, Brianna Bagley. She's 21 years old and is currently using Star House services. She learned about Star House after seeing a flyer hanging at the Metropolitan Columbus Museum, the Columbus Metropolitan Library, Brianna aged out of foster care at 18 and has found it difficult to find stable housing. She often couch surfs with friends, and Star House has helped her get her identification card and enroll in a nursing program at Columbus State. This is where she's hoping to gain a foothold on her dreams of helping people. And she really wants a place to call her own and has aspirations to travel abroad to help people and give back to Star House and finish her biography.
Hi, I'm Brianna Bagley. I'm 21 years old. I aged out of foster care when I was 18 years old. I was a runaway at 16. I eventually found Star House when I was at a library one day, and I seen it on the bulletin. I'm like, I'll give it a try. First, I second-guessed it because I wasn't a people person. I was like, I don't really trust anybody. Been in the system forever. Every time I meet someone, they, leave me. Or, oh, I'll have you for a minute, and then you're going to the next step and the next person. I'm like, I don't want this lifestyle. So I eventually moved to Star House, gave it a shot. Met some really great staff there. Heather, Sade, Danielle, Gina, Jeff, it's funny, so. And just anybody, they're like family. Before I moved on the Star House, I was run away, so I lived on the street a lot. Didn't have where to go. It was kind of hard to keep a job. A lot of money, then transportation issues, as you can see. So I eventually gave it a try because I wasn't a people person. So since I've been in Star House, they have helped me find a job, give me an ID, birth certificate, helped me graduate from high school. I'm now in college. I go to Columbus State. My major is a registered nurse. I'm doing successful in that. Yeah, so I go to school. I love school. Even though I feel like feel like giving up, like this is too hard, I always have Star House and the workers there, the case managers, and people around me, even the youth help me, like, you can do it. You've been through before. This is nothing but a rock stone. You're gonna get over this loop. So I continue to go harder, and so, yeah. And then the ID helped me get an ID. It is so hard to get an ID when you're homeless. It really is. You need a birth certificate too, but to get to birth certificate, you need your ID. So it's kind of like a little circle. It was like, oh my gosh, are you serious? So I eventually got both of them. I'm happy about that. And yeah, so. And I'm really thankful for the staff, because like if you're sick or you're feeling down or need someone to talk to, you always have someone. Yeah, no matter what the situation is, or the sex. Yeah, so. All right, well, thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Brianna. Now, James Malone. He's 28 years old. He's a manager of a local Tim's Horton restaurant and a leader advocating for more resources to help homeless youth. He used Star House when he was between the ages of 22 to 24 years, and he was homeless for 1.5 years. And during that time, James would visit the Star House as often as possible, saying that he felt more normal there than he did on the streets. He said that they made him feel like family and gave him the tools to better himself. So please welcome James.
Hello everyone, my name is James. I'm here to talk about myself and how the Star House helped me be a better person. I want to go back to the beginning of this story. I was in a terribly abusive relationship, being beaten and pimped out by my ex for over 1.5 years until things got so bad that I woke up in the hospital after a week of being unconscious. At that point, I knew what I had to do. I had to leave the situation. I lived with him, so that also meant leaving my home. But when I tried to turn to family and friends to try and find a place to stay, everyone turned me away. Even my own mother, who told me no because her boyfriend said no. So I had to live on the streets. I was scared, tired, alone, really didn't know what I was going to do, and basically about to give up. I was in and out of hospitals and 24-hour centers just trying to find a safe place. Once winter came, I went to the shelter for their overflow program. Once there, I found another young man who told me about Star House, and I said, okay, there's not much left open to me, so I'm going to go ahead and give it a try. When I went there, I was greeted by the staff and volunteers like Gina, Dr. Slesnik, Sam, and many others. They went out of their way to not only make me feel normal, but like their family. They always had a shoulder for me to cry on when I had nowhere else to go. Sorry. They helped me with food, clothing, hygiene, a shower so I wouldn't have to be dirty on the streets. Not only that, but they helped me with resumes, job applications, and many other resources. They made it possible for me to interview and find a job without any hesitation. Jean also felt I could benefit by getting in touch with her sister, Angela, who was running a program that empowered youth to stand up for their rights, speak out, and help their community. Back then, Star House was only open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. I'm so glad that they've been able to open up 24 hours due to state funding. Right now, I am a manager of Tim Hortons, like Natasha said. I'm also doing public speaking to raise awareness and gain resources for the homeless youth population here in Ohio. They also put me in touch with many government organizations, like the Attorney General's office, who wanted me to go ahead and speak about my experience with being in an abusive relationship and being homeless. So I felt that if I hadn't gone to Star House, I would be an empty shell, still being walked on, abused, and probably dead. They gave me the greatest gift I could ask for, the ability to help myself and others. I'm speaking here today because I want to help homeless youth with the most powerful tool available to me, my voice and my experience. I'm so grateful and blessed to be a part of today, to see the small center take this turn and evolve in such a way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brianna. Thank you, James. That's why we're here. This is it, right here. You just heard it. I have to just stand back for a second and also tell you that yesterday we were here, James and Brianna and I, and you know, we were worried, will the kids like this place? I need to tell you, while Brianna was standing behind that beautiful Cambria kitchen counter, and she said, "Oh yeah, I'm a movie star." And then we talked for a while, and she went back behind there and said, "Movie star." So, and then she said, "Y'all got to build one of these, just like this, and a home for me." Remember that? When we went into contract on this facility a year ago, September, I signed the purchase agreement, and I wondered, where in the world am I going to get the $640,000 to purchase this building? We closed on January 14th. We had the money, so we were able to pay for this facility before renovations in cash. But then we were at Stewart Title. I was there with Mike Simpson, and I signed the contract. We gave them the check for this new building, and I thought, and I knew at that time what it was going to cost to renovate this facility. And as I signed the purchase agreement and paid for this building, I thought, oh my God, where are we going to find $1 million to $1.5 million to renovate this building? So today represents an awful lot. To me, it represents the most phenomenal coming together of public, private, foundation, and community support that I have ever been part of in my life. I'm blaming you. But it's been great. But I can also tell you, now that we're here, I'm glad the majority of the funding is behind us. And I do want to take my hat off. Again, I know there's lots of people here from the social service community. I'm a former business guy, so I worked for-profit institutions. All of you that work in the nonprofit world, let's just have a show of hands. How many are here today that work in that industry? We all need to thank all of you, not just Star House staff, but all of you. We owe all of you a great deal, and certainly you have our good wishes and our prayers. I would now like to kind of switch gears a little bit, and you all know that a few months ago we lost our state funding. We have many very important people within state government that are still working hard for us so that we can regain that state funding. You're going to hear from one very special person today. But when we lost that state funding, I flew back. We were on vacation, my wife and I, and we had several emergency meetings with the city and the county. And I would like to recognize both the city and the county for picking the ball up. When the city and county replaced that state funding that we lost, it remained us to remain open 24/7. And I want to recognize the county and the county commissioners for doing that. I think, is Paula here? I know Paula and Marilyn and certainly John O'Grady. Thank you to them. Thank them very much when you see them. We don't have to turn our kids out at 5 o'clock when they're victims of gang violence, when they're victims of human trafficking, and yes, we have that too. But now I'd like to switch gears to the city. And the city is a major funder of this building. And when I went in to see President Ginther, along with one of our board members and good friends, Matt Habash, over here against the wall with the Mid-Ohio Food Bank, we were a nervous wreck. I was a nervous wreck. You know, I'm not used to going out asking for people, asking people for money. And I went in and I said, President Ginther, thank you for seeing me. And I mumbled a little bit and mixed my words up a little bit. And Andy Ginther made it very easy for me. He said, how much do you need? And as I introduced President Ginther to come up and speak, I thank you for that, because you don't know how much that put me at ease. And I made a commitment that day to Andy. I said, I promise you I won't be back. And he said, never say never. Well, then after we lost the state funding, I called, I don't know if Kate is here. Kate, is she here? But I called Kate. I said, Kate, can you get me in to see President Ginther, because we're in trouble. We're going to have to close our doors. And so Kate was good enough to get to President Ginther, and they saw us right away, and I walked into his office, and I started out, and I know Matt was there with me then too, and I said, President Ginther, I lied to you. and he had no idea what I was talking about. But now you all know the rest of the story. I said, I'm back. And again, through the generosity of the county and Andy Ginther and all the members of City Council, not only were they major funders of this building, but they're major funders in the lives of our young homeless people. Will you help me welcome President Ginther, President of the Columbus City Council? Thank you.
Good morning on a great day in the city of Columbus. I'm honored to be with you all here this morning and to celebrate a star rising in our great city. I want to congratulate Natasha and Denitza and Terry and the entire staff and board of the Star House. Without your vision, we wouldn't be standing here today in this amazing new facility that will allow the Star House to better meet the growing demands for services within today's young homeless population. James and Brianna were very brave to share their stories with us this morning, and we're grateful that you've lent your voice to the voiceless in our community and in our state. Thank you. About this time last year, I toured the previous facility near the OSU campus. I talked with counselors and clients as they struggled to meet the daily demands of those in need. The space was dark and cramped, but somehow the staff provided a safe environment to protect young people from the harsh realities of the street and give them hope for a better tomorrow. What a difference a year makes, and you all helped make it happen. We're in a bright, welcoming, and inviting building, a building that will provide a ray of hope during very difficult days. Many of you know my story, that we had foster brothers and sisters in my house growing up. And many of those foster brothers and sisters endured some of the same unspeakable acts of abuse and neglect and abandonment that those who use the Star House today share. So although they're not physically with me today, they are with me in spirit. The kids I grew up with were not unlike the teens and young adults who will be getting their lives back on track here at Star House. And I want to thank the Star House staff, its board, and clients. I want you all to know that your city stands with you, and that the amazing colleagues that I have on council, our mayor, and our city leadership never waited a second when the Star House was in need. This is how important it is to me and other city leaders that the Star House continue to operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I want to thank my colleagues on council for their support in this critical social service. Representative Grossman and I talked earlier about how important staff is. They make us look good, and they do the vast majority of the work. And so we're blessed to have her staff with us. But as Terry mentioned earlier, Kate McSweeney-Pashadi is here today, and please recognize her for all of her great work. Kate has made it happen. And as you can imagine in government, the lift that has been made in the last 12 months on behalf of the Star House, both permanent improvement funds for this facility and operating dollars for the outstanding staff and services that are provided, is not an easy lift. And we're here today in large part because of Kate's commitment and her ability to persuade. The Star House is beginning a new chapter today, just like the people, our youngest, most vulnerable citizens coming through the doors. We start a new chapter in their lives when they come here for help. And know that these young people, these amazing, courageous, beautiful, brave young people, we are very fortunate that this city, that this community, both public and private, think enough of them to invest in a brighter future for all of us. Thanks for having me today.
Thank you, President Andy Ginther. I woke up this morning and as many of us do, the first thing I did is I checked my iPhone to see if there are any new messages or emails that I needed to see to start the day off. I even did this one this time before my coffee. And sure enough, there I had a text message from Representative Cheryl Grossman. She'll be our next speaker, but I want you all to know, Cheryl, she has lived, breathed, and died Star House for many years now. Cheryl was one of the people instrumental in the House of Representatives for obtaining that wonderful 2-year amount of money from the state that allowed us to go 24/7. She's been a supporter in so many different ways. She too, like Andy, her message to me this morning was, today marks a great day for the city of Columbus. Today starts day one of a whole new beginning for these homeless youth. She is a friend. She is a battler. She has never stopped working on the behalf of these homeless youth in Central Ohio. Please help me give a warm welcome to Representative Cheryl Grossman.
Terry, very grateful for your very kind comments. And you know, I would like to share, as a mother, we have 2 sons that I'm very proud of. I read to them, or my husband did, every night. And I remember one book, The Little Train That Could. And Natasha, Terry, you are that little train that could. Through every adverse situation that you were dealt, you continued on. And I want to personally right now acknowledge the members of the board, Terry, Natasha, the donors, and that may be financially or in some kind of other services that you've done to make today possible. So could you stand up so we all know who you are? Thank you. Come on, stand up. You deserve this. I live by the philosophy when we're all pulling on those oars together, we're able to accomplish magnificent feats. And today is one of those just incredible, incredible days. And I truly am honored to serve as a state representative for the people of Ohio. And one of the tremendous opportunities I have in this position is to learn about the good and the bad, the happy and the sad of what Ohioans experience in our state. 4 years ago, Representative Mike Stinziano shared with me the story of Star House. I made arrangements to visit Star House shortly thereafter. I'll never forget that visit. There were so many young people at the very crowded and decrepit facility. There were times when you could hear the rats climbing inside the walls. The kitchen was small. Donated clothes were stored in the basement for the youth. Young people were on the computer applying for jobs and existing as best they could. What an impact that visit had for me. I visited again after that and had an opportunity to talk with the youth. They were there because of no fault of their own, sad situations in their families where they just could not remain. It was hard for me to comprehend how this could happen to our youth. It's a sad reality to know that we have one of the highest populations of homeless youth in the country. On one of my initial visits, I had the privilege of meeting Dr. Natasha Slesnik and Terry O'Connell. If you want an example of compassion and caring, these two are the definition. Terry has worked tirelessly with the Star House Board to raise the funds so that we can celebrate today. What a blessing and achievement of so many people sharing one important goal, the building we are dedicating today. Since 2006, Star House has not only provided a roof over the heads of youth in need, but it has also provided opportunities for young people to finish their high school education, learn skills that are relevant in today's economy and society, and to create much needed stability in their lives to better take control of their future. For so many reasons, Star House has been a beacon of hope and optimism. I cannot begin to express how exciting it is to me today to see this new facility. I am proud that the City of Columbus, Franklin County, and the state of Ohio have all stepped up in the past and present to improve this important facility for our homeless youth. I'm grateful to all the donors who have said we must do more for our homeless youth. The age group 14 to 24 that Star House serves is a highly vulnerable time for most people. It's time when providing a helpful hand can make a world of positive difference, and when failure to do so can leave some young men and women in a cycle of poverty and dependency that is almost impossible to climb out of. Again, I'm honored to be with all of you today, and I look forward to hearing the success stories from James, from you, from everyone who found a friend and mentor in the Star House. Thanks in large part to each of you and a community that truly cares and chose not to give up on our young people in need. We're here today, and I am just truly grateful. I'd also, at this time, ask Terry and Natasha if you can come forward, and my fellow representatives that are here today, Mike Duffy and Mike Stinziano. You need more artwork on the walls here, okay? And this is accommodation. It says, on behalf of the members of the House of Representatives of the 131st General Assembly of Ohio, we're pleased to congratulate Star House on the ribbon cutting and open house for its new center. Celebration of this special event is indeed a fitting tribute to the Star House. Affiliated with The Ohio State University, this research-based drop-in center for homeless youth offers respite, service links, food, and clothing. And it has earned the gratitude and appreciation of many. The opening of this new facility is a justifiable source of pride and an outstanding reflection not only on the organization itself, but also on the advisory board, on its hardworking employees and volunteers, and on the greater Columbus community. And this is given to both of you on behalf of all of us at the Ohio House in great appreciation and friendship for what you do. I'm so proud of you. And I'm going to take advantage of one more moment, if you can please humor me on this. I'm a member of our Rotary Club, and last year I did a clothing drive, and we also asked for new underwear and socks. So for all of you that are in organizations that can make a difference, think about the needs here and what your organization may do. Thank you so much.
Cheryl, thank you very much. Very, very good friend, and I can't say the word committed because that has different connotations, but Cheryl really is committed to the Star House and to our youth in Central Ohio, so thank you again. It is my great honor now to let all of you know that many people don't know just how involved and supportive our Attorney General has been and his staff to the Star House over the years. One of our board members who's not able to be here today because he's in court Judge Edward Sargas, the Chief Justice of the Sixth Circuit Court of Southern Ohio, he was excited to become part of our endeavor here because he knew that our average cost per youth served per year is right around $1,500. And all of us know that the average cost of a year's worth of incarceration is somewhere in the neighborhood of $23,000 to $25,000, if I have that number right. And so we do a lot of good things that tug at the heart, but we also do a lot of good things here as that bridge between street living and mainstream society that have very practical connotations. So Mike DeWine has been very involved over the years supporting us. He is unable to be here today, but kind of like Kate, wherever Kate McSweeney Pishotti went, she was over there. Like Kate was a main supporter of us and for Andy and City Hall and City Council, we have with us another real friend by the name of Mike Sheline. Mike is in the office of the Attorney General. Mike, like Cheryl, like Andy, like so many of you here today, has been just a tremendous friend of the Star House and supporter, and has spearheaded large amounts of funding over the years, and especially in our current year. Will you help me welcome to the stage Mike Sheline?
Good morning. This is really amazing. It's been a long journey from the meetings in the attic at 12th and 4th. This is just, I'm really excited about this. And there really is not a group of advocates more deserving of this than those at Star House, like Denitza and Gina and Sam and all of the volunteers and all of the staff. I really want to thank them. This is great. I'm excited for them. I also think it's incredible what the board has done in a short amount of time. When I first heard about this, I thought, boy, this is going to be quite a task, and some incredible work happened from the board. I also want to give a special thanks to my friend Natasha. We've worked together for several years now. She's been a big help to some of our projects, but specifically for your vision and your tenacity, because you're really a big part, obviously, of this happening, and thank you for the work that you're doing. James, thank you for your help in our office. It's been incredible. But also thank you for your strength and your resiliency, and that you give back to those that have experienced similar situations. So I really appreciate that. In our office, we have a lot of moving parts in a lot of departments, like most state agencies. We have a human trafficking commission. We have a crimes against children unit. We have the crime victims section. We have the missing children's unit. And one of the things we noticed several years ago is that this particular group of kids transcend all of those departments. The average entry into human trafficking or sexual commercialization is in the early teens. And these are often kids that have been thrown out of their houses, have left their houses most likely because of abuse or for very bad things going on. And these kids end up in the street, not only abused, neglected, witnessing violence when they had a home or somewhat of a home, but to continue experiencing that while on the street. This really is our last time to break these cycles of violence, deal with some of this trauma, and really empower these youth to join our community. So again, I really appreciate, growing up in Columbus for a long time, I was very jealous of Cincinnati and Dayton in this area, and now I'm kind of excited to bring those folks on a tour here. This is an amazing facility, and thank you for the work that you do. Thank you. 2, 3. Yay! Hey,